Stop scrolling for a second. This might sound uncomfortable, but if every relationship in your life ends the same way, it's not bad luck, it's not timing, and it's not always the other person. It usually starts quietly. You meet someone. They feel like relief, like finally being understood, like someone filled the silence you didn't know how to sit with. At first, everything feels light. Texts come fast, calls last long, you feel seen again. But slowly, something shifts. The conversations feel heavy. The excitement fades. You start noticing small things that bother you, and they start noticing things about you too. You tell yourself every relationship goes through this, but deep down, there's a familiar fear. You've been here before. You begin to overthink. Why did they reply late? Why does their tone feel different? Why do you feel anxious for no clear reason? You try to hold on tighter. You ask for reassurance. You explain your feelings again and again. But somehow, it only pushes them further away. And one day, you're lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering how something that started so beautifully ended up making you feel this lonely. Here's the part no one talks about. Your relationship didn't fail because you cared too much. It failed because you didn't know how to be alone. You entered love carrying unmet needs, unhealed wounds, expectations you never said out loud. You wanted them to fix what you never faced, to fill the emptiness you avoided, to make you feel whole. But no human being can carry that weight forever. So when they couldn't save you from your own doubts, you felt betrayed. And when they needed space, you felt abandoned. Not because they were cruel, but because you were scared. Scared of being forgotten, scared of not being enough, scared of sitting alone with your own thoughts. And instead of working on that fear, you tried to escape it through love. That's why arguments felt bigger than they were. That's why silence felt like rejection. That's why you lost yourself trying to keep someone else. You stopped doing the things that made you proud. You adjusted your boundaries. You ignored your goals, all in the name of making it work. But slowly, resentment grew, not just toward them, but toward yourself. Because deep inside, you knew you were shrinking. And when the relationship finally ended, or emotionally died while still existing, the pain wasn't just about losing them. It was about realizing you had been running from yourself. This is where most people repeat the cycle. They rush into the next relationship. New face, same wounds, same ending. But growth begins when you stop running, when you sit with the loneliness, when you stop blaming others, when you ask yourself the harder question, who was I before I asked someone else to complete me? That's when discipline enters your life. Not discipline as punishment, but discipline as self-respect. You wake up earlier, you move your body, you keep promises to yourself, you build routines that don't depend on anyone's attention. You learn how to calm your own mind, how to face silence without panicking, how to stand alone without feeling empty. And something changes. You stop needing love to feel valuable. You stop chasing validation. You stop begging to be chosen. Not because you don't want connection, but because you finally have one with yourself. And the next time you love, it won't come from fear. It won't come from desperation. It won't come from loneliness. It will come from wholeness. You'll choose someone, not to save you, but to walk beside you. And if they leave, it will hurt, but it won't destroy you, because your life won't collapse when someone else steps out of it. That's the real reason your relationships didn't work. They weren't meant to. They were meant to wake you up. And once you learn the lesson, you stop repeating the pain. You don't chase love anymore. You become someone who doesn't need to be chased because you finally learned how to stand on your own.